Hours after returning to power, President Trump issued a flurry of executive orders,
issuing multiple executive orders.
President Trump also signed an executive order.
A series of executive orders signed by President Trump Monday, designed to crack down on immigration, had an immediate impact.
My wife is pregnant, believe me, my wife is pregnant.
You're arrested now for alien smuggling. Actual federal felony. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, if you resist, we will have a fight. Is that what you want?
You know the guy.
What?
Let me.
No.
Hey, the guy.
I already let you talk. You're admitted to me. You're transporting someone that's illegal.
But the guy have a case. He work in immigration.
Okay.
At a U.S. Army airfield in El Paso, exclusive video obtained by CBS News shows shackled detainees boarding a military cargo plane, one of two C-17s to depart the southern border carrying migrants, and landing in Guatemala Friday morning.
Deportation's going very well. We're getting the bad, hard criminals out.
The White House calls it the official start of their long-promised mass deportation campaign.
In 2025, President Donald Trump implemented a series of controversial measures aimed at addressing immigration and the ongoing border crisis.
As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before.
On January 20th, 2025, immediately after his inauguration, President Trump signed Executive Order 14159 titled Protecting the American People Against Evasion. This order mandated the construction of physical barriers along the southern border, increased the deployment of military personnel, and expanded the powers of immigration enforcement agencies.
And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
The administration proposed the establishment of a militarized buffer zone in New Mexico, staffed by active duty U.S. troops authorized to detain individuals crossing the border illegally. This move aimed to circumvent the Posse Comitatus Act, which traditionally restricts military involvement in civilian law enforcement.
With this swearing in, you will become enforcers of Title 8 of the United States Code.
The 60 National Guard soldiers sworn in Thursday are now authorized to directly handle immigration enforcement duties.
Congratulations. I appreciate everything you're doing for this nation. Thank you.
Title 8 is the federal immigration law that governs how the U.S. processes migrants on the border. Interim Border Patrol Chief in the El Paso sector, Walter S. Loser, also said that taking this oath is the soldiers' declaration of their support to defend the Constitution of the United States.
That you understand that national security cannot exist without border security.
In a bid to encourage voluntary departures, the Department of Homeland Security launched the CBP Home app. This application allows undocumented immigrants to self-report their intents to leave the U.S., promising potential legal re-entry in the future. President Trump emphasized that those who do not comply may face enforced deportation without the possibility of return.
The CBP Home app gives aliens the option to leave now and self-deport, so they may still have the opportunity to return legally in the future and live the American dream. If they don't, we will find them, we will deport them, and they will never return.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border, for deporting criminal illegal immigrants, and for putting America first. President Trump has a clear message for those that are in our country illegally. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you. You will never return. For too long, weak politicians left our borders wide open. They flooded our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. They put American lives at risk. Well, those days are over. If you leave now, you may have an opportunity to return and enjoy our freedom and live the American dream. But understand this. Under President Trump, America's borders are closed to lawbreakers. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. Break it, and you'll find consequences. The choice is yours. America welcomes those who respect our laws, because a strong nation is a safe nation.
The administration expanded deportation efforts to include not only undocumented immigrants, but also certain legal immigrants. This encompasses counseling temporary protective status for specific groups, deporting visa and green card holders under disputed national security claims, and attempts to revoke birthright citizens through executive orders.
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump. Yes, Mr. Trump, we love you. I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that it was not going to touch the documented people.
You guys should be ashamed. You guys look fucking nopal as fuck. How dare you guys? You guys are sad. Damn, this shit's sad. It's making me cry because I can't believe this shit's happening in my own fucking neighborhood. That's fucked up. She's heading to work and they're taking her. And she has family over here. That's fucking scandalous, bro. I can't believe this shit's really happening. That's sad. You guys are scandalous. Fuck, man. What is she doing? Heading to work? What is she bothering you guys? Is she doing something dangerous?
Take us back, like, why you went across the border and had to come back.
I was reapplying for a work visa. I had a work visa and then I was reapplying for another one. And because my lawyer was in San Diego, I was at that border.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. And do you regret going across the border?
I mean, yeah, of course. Like if I knew that was even a possibility, that could happen, I would have never in a million years gone there. Like, I'm telling you, from the second I got there to now, like, I can't even process what just happened because there was no heads up. Next thing you know, I'm taken and for 2 weeks haven't been told anything, moved in different cells, sleeping on cement, sleeping in different jail cells. Like, it just... nothing makes sense to me, and I'm still trying to process the entire situation.
President Donald Trump now taking the fight over the attempt to restrict automatic U.S. birthright citizenship to the Supreme Court. So this as the Republican president's administration asked the justices to narrow a judicial block imposed on this approach toward immigration. I want to bring in Chief Legal Analyst Clive Rhodes to this conversation. Let's start with the confusing part right there. I mean, what does it mean when you say a judicial block, I mean, for immigration? I'm just a narrow judicial block at that point.
Alicia, there's a lot of confusing parts. So
right.
I'll hit the first confusing part in which you asked about, which is what they want him to narrow. The judge blocked everything, that you can't roll this out, you can't do anything. And what the Trump administration is asking is, can we at least talk about it? Mm-hmm. Can we put up the advertisements? Can we start to roll this out? If you're looking at it like it's a social media thing, we're not going to do a whole thing. We're just going to do a soft launch. Do we have the authorization to do that? And that's what they're asking the court, because the judge said you can't do any of this. I'm going to injunct, stop you from doing all this, and then wait until I make a final decision. Mm-hmm. They're basically asking the court, well, we know you want to make a decision, but while you're making your decision, can we still do some of this?
These aggressive policies have faced significant resistance. Legal challenges argue that some measures overstep executive authority and violate constitutional rights. Advocacy groups highlight the human toll, emphasizing the separation of families and the targeting of vulnerable populations.
Mamá, por favor. Mamá, no me dejes. Mamá.
Tranquila, ya no llores, ¿sí? Mamá va a regresar. Solo se fue el trabajo.
¿Me lo prometes? ¿Me lo prometes, papá?
Mi amor, no te puedo prometer eso. Te digo que sí, que voy a estar contigo, ¿sí?
At San Francisco's immigration court, new policies from the White House have people on edge. Like this single mother who asked us not to use her name. She says she fled domestic violence in El Salvador with her 5-year-old child while pregnant with another.
It's something I wouldn't wish on anyone. I arrived when I was 8 months pregnant. A month after arriving, my baby boy was born.
After a 3-year wait, she thought this day would be her final one in court. But she was just informed her next hearing won't come for another year. Hers is one of more than 3.5 million cases pending in front of U.S. immigration court judges across the country.
I think that the clients are very afraid that they can just get picked up by immigration customs and enforcement.
Immigration attorney Sylvia Redesno says those with pending cases shouldn't have to worry too much about being detained by ICE unless they have a criminal record or prior removal order. At least in theory.
Several immigrant advocacy groups in Chicago are suing the Trump administration and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The president has been critical of Chicago's status as a sanctuary city. The groups filing this lawsuit say the planned raids are retaliatory in nature.
Chicago has a rich history and tradition of organizing and of being a welcoming city. And so we're going to stick to our roots, and we're going to continue to educate our communities and to lock arm in arm with all of our residents to say that we just won't tolerate that here.
Casey, thank you. Breaking right now, a crowd gathering this morning in downtown LA. You're taking a live look at a protest over the recent surge in ICE raids and deportations. Last Monday, President Donald Trump signing executive orders giving ICE agents greater ability to conduct enforcement actions in sensitive areas like schools, churches, and hospitals. Under the Trump administration, ICE agents are arresting nearly 800 people every day. Several local schools have begun handing out Know Your Rights cards, providing guidance on how to respond to immigration officers on campus. This live look here happening in downtown LA again over those protests with ICE arrests and deportations happening across our area. We'll continue to follow this one.
Following these measures, U.S. Border Patrol apprehensions dropped by 85% from January 21st to January 31st, 2025, compared to the same period in 2024. However, the use of military bases like Fort Bliss as detention hubs has sparked debate over the appropriate use of military facilities for immigration enforcement.
Trump administration is planning a deportation hub at Fort Bliss that could soon hold up to 10,000 undocumented immigrants as they go through the process of being deported. As we first broke on our KTSM 9 News social media pages and on our website this afternoon, the move comes as the Trump administration plans to use military installations across the United States to detain undocumented immigrants. This is according to the New York Times, and according to sources familiar with the matter, Fort Bliss will serve as a model hub for other potential facilities of its kind. As we've previously reported, the Trump administration has been using Biggs Army Airfield at Fort Bliss for deportation flights.
This is what the cells look like. They're all the same.
In Ohio's Butler County Jail, Sheriff Richard Jones is eager to fill these cells.
Got a bed over here, little cabinet, sink.
Happy to provide a resource now that the Department of Homeland Security says its immigration detention centers are at capacity after ICE arrested 32,809 individuals since President Trump's inauguration.
Well, they have no jail space.
So they can't do mass deportations without sheriffs like you.
They need us, and we are willing to help. I shook hands with President Trump.
Right after Trump won the election in November, Jones contacted ICE and renegotiated a contract his jail had with the agency during the first Trump administration. Butler County now charges ICE for holding detainees, renting out its beds for a price per head, potentially bringing the county millions of dollars a year. 300 beds.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you charging?
As much as I can get. We're charging $68 a day, and that pays for my employees, pays for what they need.
Tack on another $36 per hour for transportation. Is it about the money?
No, it's about doing the right thing.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it.
As the nation grapples with these contentious policies, the balance between securing borders and upholding humanitarian values remains at the forefront of public discourse.